Hey, it's Watney. Big J Dak and I want to kick off our 50th episode by thanking you, dear listener. We wouldn't be here without your support. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Marina Sirtis, and you're going boldly with Beyond Trek podcast.
A red alert. Nice hat, by the way.
Hey, I thought you'd like that. I love this hat. I wear it everywhere.
I don't think I've ever seen him not wear it.
It's true.
It's a good hat. The Niners hat. And anyone who recognizes it, he says, okay, you are now my new friend.
Kind of, sort of. It's a great way to filter out people you meet on the street. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the 50th episode of Beyond Trek podcast. We're talking about no small parts, the season 1 finale of Star Trek Lower Decks. In the studio, we've got Big J, Watney, I'm Dag, and we're happy to have special guest host Ryan T. Husk. Ryan, where might the audience know you?
Hi there. You probably know me from somewhere in the internet. If you hover around in Star Trek groups, I usually admin a lot of Star Trek groups, but probably also from The Seventh Rule, a Star Trek podcast with Sirach Lofton, also created by the late, great Aaron Eisenberg. That might be where you know me from.
Yes.
We love Aaron around here. I'm planning on getting his number from Take Me Out to the Holosuite embroidered on this hat. So
that would be great. That'd be really nice. Now, Ryan, please tell me that the T in your middle name stands for Tiberius.
Well, I can tell you that that's not the first time people have hoped that, but no, it's not that cool.
You could legally change it to that.
It's actually a French name, and It's actually really my first name, and Ryan's my middle name, but I kind of flip-flopped them because it's a long French name that is difficult for Americans to pronounce. But when I go to France, they can't pronounce Ryan, which is weird.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I did see that on IMDb and I couldn't pronounce it. So I'm glad you switched that. Well, that's a Hollywood thing. You have to have like your stage name. So just about, and you are a Hollywood actor and producer. You're involved in some Star Trek, some fan productions I've seen. And also, as I mentioned to you a little while ago, you were in that movie Fifth Passenger. And if none of you have seen that, it's great. Armin Shimmerman is in that. Tim Russ, Manu, whose last name I am not able to pronounce.
Into Ray May, I've had a lot of practice with that one.
Okay. Yes, definitely a lot of practice. And Ryan's in there. So, yeah, we're going to review this season finale of Lower Decks.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
It was great.
We sure are. I got tears, laughter, pretty much everything.
I screamed and was told to shut up from the people upstairs.
Were they stomping on their floor?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we open up the final episode of season 1 of Lower Decks on Beta 3, a callback to the original series or those old scientists. As Ransom puts it. So this colony, we've been here. We know what's going on. Landru was basically controlling the colonists, and Kirk thought he had solved the problem. Turns out they regressed. Freeman is like, dang, it sucks that we don't check in on these guys enough. But apparently the Prime Directive keeps them from doing that. So Ransom says that he calls this era those old scientists, which that's what he said, right?
These
TOS era, but yeah. He thinks she's so funny. Like, what?
Yeah.
great meta-ness. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
In 100 years, they're going to call back and be like, man, can't we be like those TNG people? And be like, what? Be like the new guys.
The new guys. Freeman says she hates seeing these civilizations devolve because of Gamester of Triskelions or whatever. Which was another callback to TOS. Pretty cool. We go to the bridge. We set coordinates for Starbase 77, which apparently is a starbase that is newly named as of this episode. That's not one we've seen before. Apparently, the Cerritos still has crew on Beta 3. Guess who?
Oh, yeah. Troublemaker.
Our beloved Mariner, just handing out art supplies. Stop worshiping a computer.
I love how they reproduced the old 40 Acre Studio lot here. This is where they recorded so many TOS episodes. And I've got a GIF that I'm going to post on Reddit that has like the fade of how closely they matched that with this digital scene here. It's so beautiful.
Where's that studio?
It's a 40 Acre Studio. It's somewhere around LA.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's where they filmed like City on the Edge of Forever, Return of the Archons, bunch of TOS episodes got their treatment there.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought it back up for this, the animated for Lower Decks, and it looked great. The recreation that they did was, I thought it was spot on.
Yeah, it's just cool. I love how the writers, like, I just want to hang out with them. Like I've said before, they just like throw all these nuggets in for us like fans. It's great. Go ahead.
I love how Freeman tells Landru to shut up or she's going to talk him into paradoxically destroying himself, like Kirk did like 4 times in the original series, just talking robots to death by making them calculate pi to the final digit and stuff.
And he's like, sorry, my bad. So Mariner's handing crayons out. Apparently this is against protocol, which seems very benign, but Boimler joins her. She thinks he's going to chew her out, but he's like, hey, crayons are better than the red hour. Everybody gets crayons. And then he reveals that he knows her secret.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't keep a secret.
I thought they were going to wait for that, and they just called it right out. It was great.
Well, they waited all season.
Well, but Boimler learned it at the end of the Rise of Vindicta, a Crisis Point, and I just thought he was going to sit on that, but nope, here we go.
Mm-hmm. And the whole entire bridge hears. The whole ship hears, I think.
Yes. Well, they hear all of it, and then they get beamed up, and the reaction Boimler had was
Mariner's so pissed.
Yeah, she's pissed. Ryan, what were your thoughts on like Mariner and her mom's like relationship? I'm curious because I've heard like my co-hosts' opinions on it, but I personally thought that Mariner was an augment. That's why she's like super good at everything. And I thought that was like going to be the big secret at the end of the season or maybe the series or something. But like, what were your thoughts on like her relationship with her mom and how this all went down?
Well, we found out at was it the first or second episode, we found out that Mariner was her daughter. Mm-hmm. But then we automatically think, okay, well, why do they have last names that are different? So obviously they don't want people to know this. And it's not just superficially, like Mariner's going by a completely different name. So, I don't know exactly why they are doing that. I mean, now they tell us at the end that they just don't want the special treatment or preferential treatment. Mm-hmm. What I assumed at that point was just that Mariner was kind of like similar to that, kind of like how actors, or actors that are children of famous actors. Right. Sometimes they change their names because they don't want, whether it's that preferential treatment or they don't want whatever negativity people might have, or maybe they get negated from roles because they go, oh no, that their parents are comedic actors. She can't do, a dramatic, or something like that. So that's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
That ties it right back into the title of the episode, No Small Parts, which is like a theater reference that there are no small parts, just small actors.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that's from. I knew that sounded familiar.
Interesting. All right.
The Boimler freak out, the perfectly cut scream.
Yeah, we cut right to the title, the beautiful, gorgeous title sequence of Lower Decks. We just love it so much. And then we get to see the shiny ship.
New Solving.
For all of 2 seconds.
Anybody feel like when you bought a new phone and you trying to figure out how long to keep the plastic on the screen?
This poor
great.
Captain.
That was great.
Yes.
Someone, she wants to not peel any of this stuff off. Nice new ship, and everyone had to have their shoes off. No shoes on the carpet. kind of like,
look, I like to get comfy.
Right.
It's all good.
What's like at home? Mom would tell you take your shoes off, and so I think that'd be very comfortable on a bridge of a starship. Be able to walk around in your socks. That'd feel good. Well, unless you kicked up a little bit of static and touch your console and it explodes with rocks flying everywhere.
Anything can happen.
Yes.
It's just plot. It's just a plot device. That's all it is. So this is Captain Dayton, who is the former captain of the USS Rubida, which was destroyed in episode 7. Much Ado About Boimler, the one with the big electric creature where Mariner has to face like her peers who have already been promoted and such. So she's like, I want to keep this ship like super nice as long as I can. And then it just instantly gets destroyed.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
That's like one shadowing, you don't even get to 4.
Well, it sucks because like she dies in this sequence. Like they all die. They get murdered.
Well, yeah, they tried to go to warp with a grappling hook on their warp nacelle.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we kind of see like in terms of Captain Dayton, we see her panic a lot also during episode 7 when her and her crew are like cloistered up in the powered down like engineering section. So you see her like panicking in that situation. I think that kind of carries through here, especially since this is a new ship. So we don't know who is controlling this new OP ship that rips off a nacelle and destroys the Solvang. We find out later who is responsible for that.
Did you ever watch Transformers?
I watched Transformers.
Good man.
When you saw these ships, did you think Laserbeak?
Wow, no.
I got solid Transformer vibes, and I feel like they've peppered a lot of 80s references. They had the Shrieking Eels and Viridius.
Was Laserbeak the tape?
Yes. Yeah. The spy tape from Soundwave.
Yeah. No, I did not get that vibe. I mean, the colors are very reminiscent of 80s cartoons. The exterior space and spaceship colors are very reminiscent of 80s cartoons. And it almost seems like they have a different artistic team that does the interiors and the characters versus the exteriors of the ships and the planets and such.
Ooh.
I never thought of that.
Because the outside of the ship looks beautiful and the inside of the ship looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's Titmouse
point.
Animation, so we could call on them to answer some of those questions.
I'm obsessed with the exterior shots of the show.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
yes,
they're just eye candy. It's like perfection.
If you've watched us on YouTube in the past, you know that we get a little giggly about the exterior establishing shots. We call them out almost every episode because
on this show they're great. It's a real highlight of the show, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this silent death and fade out of the Solvang. That was a moment.
A very dramatic scene set against a star in the background. So then we fade out. We shipped over to the Cerritos cargo bay where Tendi is super excited to meet new recruits and be kind of like a liaison for them. And Rutherford's having some issues with his implant's attitude selector. Turns out he can cycle through like a bunch of different attitude modes.
I wish I had that.
That puts a lot of power of the implant over Rutherford.
It does, I think.
There are people that I wish had that feature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold up. Beep. Going to podcast host mode. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
And we get to see the cutest little exocomp.
Yeah.
So
great callback there.
It's like they give us a sweet little baby, and then they like later on just like make us hate the baby.
Take
like
it away.
Right. Yes, please take this baby.
Yeah.
It's also a nice attention to detail. You can see in that image you got there that the exocomp is colored in the exact uniform design with even one pip and everything, which was it's a great attention to detail.
It's funny, I missed the pip, but I got the uniform, so good job, Eagle Eye.
Okay, can you imagine an exocomp captain?
That would be,
or an admiral.
That would be tough. I am very glad that they are doing this callback, showing an exocomp that is in Starfleet, because they are intelligent. They were deemed sentient to the level of Data when we left off, weren't they? Or were they close to that? They
were deemed.
The TNG episode. Okay. All right. So yeah, certainly you can see them in serving in Starfleet. The thing is, though, the whole not having hands, not having any, appendages to operate things. I have a hard time with putting my head around that, like how you can have a successful career in Starfleet when you're a floating robot.
Well, okay. What was like the original exocomp purpose?
They were maintenance tools, maintenance and repair.
Yeah, so they're totally fine. They can make it happen.
Engineers.
Maintenance on people now.
Yeah, they just can't eat tacos,
Oh man, not hungry.
Maybe that's why she's so pissed. So we cut to Mariner and Freeman in her office chatting about, oh no, what are we going to do now? We thought we had this all buttoned up. No one knew about it. And Ransom comes in and starts ass kissing.
Very awkward moment.
It was very awkward. This is like nuclear awkward to me. Like I can't believe this is like secondhand cringe. I was just like, I can't even almost even look at the screen.
His lips had to have been chapped after all the ass kissing he was doing.
Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell, I've loved you since Stand By Me. This just upped it a notch because it was hilariously and also awkward. And I agree, cringe. Still cool.
Yeah.
I think Watney's thinking of one specific angle that they kept hitting in that scene.
I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah. This show does not shy away from anything. I'll tell you that. Isn't it PG-13?
It's definitely well, because it's streamed. They don't have. I don't think they abide by like the broadcast rating systems. But I mean, they've swore on this show, so yeah, a little. Oh
yeah, Ta'ana just lets it loose. They also bleep it out, which is part of the censoring for ratings. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah. So Ransom comes in. He starts making himself look really bad. In front of Freeman, and he's like, oh god, I'm so sorry, you're both really great, and they're like, I gotta go. Mariner leaves and hears people whispering on her way through the corridors, and this guy named Lieutenant Levy stops her. He's like, do you remember me? We went on a date like a year ago. And she was like, yeah, you're the guy who thought that Wolf 359 was an inside job.
I mean, you had a captain of Starfleet on a Borg ship who helped destroy 39 ships and 11,000 lives, so it really was an inside job.
Well,
we should do an episode on Trek conspiracies, like in the universe. Like, what would be a conspiracy?
Foil hat.
Fun idea. Yeah.
What happened to that Romulan senator that died on the way back from that conference one time?
Why is Mars' atmosphere on fire?
Or they could just tell like Beverly Crusher. She's like, dude, there was this one time where like the universe was shrinking and it was just me and I saved the universe and whatever. Oh no, I think they were aware about it. They pulled her out at the end there, right?
Yep.
They did, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that shoots that. I was hoping they could be like, sure, doctor, yeah.
But what if she's been stuck in a warp bubble inside a warp bubble the whole time?
Oh my god.
Possible. It's possible.
Inception.
Or like Ta'ana, she just walked onto the wrong ship. Like a couple episodes back, they called out that Crusher episode. She's like, everyone's lying to me. They say they don't know me, and they're like, this is the wrong ship. It was so funny.
When this dude was like, what did he say? The changelings don't exist. The Dominion War didn't happen.
Yeah.
And my DS9 fandom was like, oh, I want to take a bunk at this guy.
He just makes the instant cringe. He tried to give, he gave Mariner a pad to try and make her give it to her mom. And it had decorative ideas for the captain's yacht. That was the whole reason he stopped her. So then we see Ta'ana, who like actually treats her like normal somewhat, but she kind of cozies up to her and asks if the captain would be cool if her and Shax made a love connection.
Oh yeah, that was again with the cat and Shax's thing. I don't know.
I love Ta'ana and Shax.
Yeah.
Somebody had to write the dialogue here.
Right. Someone had to write.
I've got the phrase coital hooks burned in my memory.
Yeah. Oh God, I didn't until you said it.
Beef stick. I'm going to change my handle to that. What do you
Please
think?
don't. I don't want to have nightmares. I already have a hard enough time sleeping.
So where does she go after this?
I think Mariner goes down to the bunks, where eventually she runs into Billups. But before that, we are at the bridge again, where we receive a partial distress call from the Solvang in the Kala system. Freeman seems to think it's an accident that someone just leaned on a button wrong, and the Titan is nearby. Hey, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But the Cerritos they'll get the job done though. So they warp off to the Kala system.
Sorry, there was a cat tickling my feet. It was
Ooh, as we talk about cats.
Yeah. So Chief Engineer Phillips comes up to Mariner like, I made you some ham pies. She straight up rejects him.
Oh.
His face. Did y'all see his face after she rejects?
So sad.
He literally is like full frown.
But he's been sad for 2 episodes now. So what's up with Billups?
Yeah. He had to have gotten some kind of bad news. Don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it's making me sad seeing how sad he is.
I think he's just trying to make friends. I don't know.
Right.
But he apparently didn't know who Mariner was before her secret got out. He called her Jen.
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah,
me
who
too. I
in the
missed
starship is named Jen? I don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He calls it out at the end of the episode. It's a great line.
Very good line. So then Boimler's like, hey, I need your mom I need you to do me a favor to get me ahead of the rest of the applicants for this spot on the USS Sacramento. And she's like, why are you doing that? And he's like, because it would be great for me. She's like, I'm not going to do that. And then she starts acting like she's going to take his spot in the applications. And then before Shaxx appears in frame, the frame's rumbling. Like, it's really, really funny how they did it. And then what do you guys think he's wrapped there? That's a present from
Boy, that is.
You think it's a batleth?
Tough.
Yeah, it's a batleth.
I think it's a pony.
Oh, I can see it.
A baby pony all wrapped up with little holes poked in there for him.
Shaxx does seem like the kind of guy that has a sensitive side. He'd wrap up a stuffed animal.
He's just gruff.
Right.
Very intense.
Gruff with a sensitive side. But no, I really think that's a batleth. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other point is hidden behind his arm.
In pink wrapping paper.
Oh, you're
with a
right.
bow.
Because believe it or not, when I was doing the outline for us, I was like, okay, I'm going to Google this, like Star Trek weapons, because batleths don't have 1 point.
No, they have the big, it's kind of like a sort of half moon, big points and 2 in the middle. So yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we can come to a consensus.
Mm-hmm.
There was another interesting moment on the deck that I forgot about, but Rutherford calls out Captain Freeman Day. It's like Captain
That was
Picard
great.
Day.
Yeah, that was a really cool reference.
Yeah.
Every captain has a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they should. Every captain has their day.
We also get to hear later that First Contact Day, like the tradition is a salmon or something. Remember
First
that?
Contact Day salmon.
Yeah, Ransom said that. Was like they're really giving us all the traditions here. So Tendi and Exocomp, science officer, medical officer, are going down the hallway. She's like, you need a name. What's your name? Apparently, the most mathematically perfect name in the universe is Peanut Hamper. Peanut Hamper is voiced by Heather Donahue, and Heather is known for her roles as Lindsay in the FX black comedy You're the Worst and Alice in Pitch Perfect.
Huh. There you go.
Very lovely voice.
Your next stage name, Peanut Hamper.
No, I have to disagree that is the best mathematical name ever. I don't know what would be, but Peanut Hamper is not where I would have gone with that. Unless you think that the universe is this beautiful randomized numerical system, in which case, sure, Peanut Hamper works because that's 2 very random words.
It could have been Cellar Door.
From Donnie Darko. I was literally, that's in my head. Yeah.
What would you say, Watney? What was it?
Great minds.
So in the movie Donnie Darko, one of the teachers, isn't that Drew Barrymore?
It is.
Oh my God, I need to watch that again. But she says she's like an English teacher, and she tells the main character the most perfect word in the English language is cellar door. So I was thinking it was going to be like cellar door or something, which would have been cool. So yeah, she, we cut over to, I guess, the first officer's ready room, and Mariner and Boimler are there competing for the spot right before they like cut to this, Boimler says he's not a meathead, and he's like lifting weights.
He's got a gym set in there with barbells and the racks. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous. He is always working out.
Mm-hmm.
It does help you think. I will attest to that. I get my best thinking done when I'm working out. So I was right there with him when he's like, think. It's like, yes, he gets it. He gets me.
As you're doing 50-pound curls, just thinking, what can I do to enhance this show?
It's kind of just meditative, because you're just, whether you're running and you just kind of get lost in your thoughts, or whether you're doing repetitions, whatever it is, your brain kind of goes into its own little zone, and you just get lost in thought. That's where your best thinking comes in usually, oftentimes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like when I'm kickboxing, I like my mind actually goes, well, it can't keep up because I'm pushing my body so hard that it's like, okay, anxiety gone. Like everything is just completely blank. And then you can actually start to like be a little creative. Like I totally agree. Okay. I don't know if Ransom is maybe there, but maybe he is.
He's not quite.
Yeah. He's like, I can't think until I work out. He wants to promote Boimler, but he also wants to serve the captain and be brown nose, because we know that him and Mariner are similar, but he's just more of a protocol guy. So then we cut down to the lower decks hangout bay. It's kind of like their shuttle bay that they're always hanging out in. Peanut Hamper and Tendi enter. Rutherford's working on a shuttle, and the exocomp starts knocking over all of these like tubes and stuff. And
she's got to be drunk, because when she goes in there, she's like, wow, that was some good dilithium. And
I know. Okay. What do you think she meant by that? Because I heard her say that, but do you think
she probably tapped into Cerritos's like power core and got like a hit of energy or something. I mean, I don't know how they eat or drink, but that's just what it
seemed like a contact high to me. Something like that. Yeah, she definitely came in there stoned. That was what I got from that. Or took a shot of dilithium, shot glass or something similar.
Yeah. And Tendy's concerned that she's not going to do good in medical. Sam's still acting weird. That's pretty much what's in the scene.
He's like, make sure you respect her as a person. It's like, don't anger the robot overlords.
Kind of a callback to, I guess, Picard, or a call forward to Picard.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Cut to sickbay. And Peanut Hamper saves the day.
Yeah.
Apparently she found a way to graft skin. It's a new technique. Uses half the skin or something. She's so cute.
Well, that's how I see exocomps being useful. Is things like this. They have these tools that they can just replicate and use.
Right.
Ryan, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that's their special skill. Their personalities may leave a little to be desired. You kind of don't know what you're going to get with them, obviously, as we see later. But if they can replicate or create new tools, then that's the perfect engineer, or the perfect doctor, or maybe even the perfect weapon.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Command or tactical exocomp.
Like swarm fighters. They kind of like they did in the season finale of season 2 of Discovery. All those ships everywhere. I could just see whole battalions of exocomps, little things flying around everywhere. I never thought of that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I was thinking similarly. At the end of Picard, they had the magic. Rafi and Rios had the magic tool.
Oh yes.
You just ocarina
with the power of your imagination, or whatever it was. The tool can become whatever you need. Well, now we've got an exocomp, so we're good there.
We don't talk about that episode.
Yeah, the magic wand plot device. Right. But yeah, it's kind of like also maybe a play in like automation and jobs. an AI. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much. So we cut to the hallways. Mariner and Boimler are arguing some more about their promotion. And then the Cerritos finishes its warp jump into the Kala system, entering the debris field of the Solvang.
I love
Quite
this
beautiful.
scene.
Quite beautiful.
Reminded me of Star Trek 2009 when the Enterprise finally arrived at Vulcan and the entire rescue fleet had been destroyed and they're just dipping and dodging around all the debris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Extremely intense.
I like that here Ransom also calls for red alert and shields, just like the Solvang's Exo did before they got destroyed. So like that was a really cool, like this is a feature of the Exo's position.
Well, calling for red alert. Yeah.
Yeah. So the captain can assess.
Right.
Yeah. Look at that ship. Jeez. So
and on the front of it is that little pack-led vessel that confronted them in Samaritan Snare. It's just attached on like a
so that's the thing about Packlets is they're basically like at this point they're baby Borg. They're operating as baby Borg.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna assimilate this. I'm gonna assimilate you. I'm gonna assimilate you. The music really picks up here, and I gotta say, like, it got my heart pumping. Like, it was really, really dramatic and awesome. They attack the Cerritos instantly. They do not wait. They call it the Enterprise, don't they?
They call it the Enterprise. Yes.
It's another Enterprise.
So they think every Federation ship is an Enterprise. Is the Enterprise?
It's probably they're all called Enterprise.
Yeah, like every dog is Spot.
Yeah,
for them.
And every Vulcan is Spock, according to Shax.
Yeah. The Cerritos gets its nacelle pulled on. And Ransom's like, weren't the Packlets kind of a joke?
Yeah.
Mariner's like, well, they have weapons from over 30 different species here, so they're not a joke anymore. And look at that beautiful tractor beam.
Well, when you're collecting, stealing technology, that can be dangerous. What they get a hold of, and there are not many races that we've seen or come across that I can recall besides the Borg that have that kind of practice of assimilating or collecting other technologies to make yourselves better. Not a practice that really anyone else has done. You'll see Starfleet doesn't do it. There may be something that the Klingons have, or the Cardassians or Romulans that, their warp nacelles are better or more streamlined, or this weapon system is better. They don't just graft those things onto their ships. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Packlids were doing that. And now suddenly you have these overpowered ships because they've taken the best pieces off of other ships and other races that they've stolen technology from.
Yep.
Yeah. And even in TNG, when we meet the Packlids, they're like really dumb, but they're really dangerous. And at the time, like everyone views them as like a joke. But when I was watching that episode in TNG, I did feel like, you feel a little urgency. Like they can obviously hurt you. Like you're being held, like Geordi is being held hostage. So,
it doesn't mean they're not dangerous. Just because they're not the smartest doesn't mean that they're not dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine the amount of IT and technical problems they'd come up with all of these different incompatible pieces of technology from different races, on top of the fact that they're really stupid. So I feel like half the time their missions are just to go, capture some engineer to figure out their IT problems and troubleshoot and unplug it and plug it back in.
It's very interesting that you bring that up, because I can tell you just from working in IT, mixing technologies and things is not easy.
It's not a thing.
trying to get a Mac to print, forget about it. Like it's just, it has to make everything more complicated. And then I'm thinking, okay, so they take that to, the factor of 10. They're taking these different ship systems and whatnot. You're right. That how do they manage to accomplish that? Because that is no small feat. Small things. I mean, trying to get something, an app that's between an iPhone or a Android phone to work the same, not happening. So very good point there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very intense scene. So Ransom wants to go to warp. Freeman's like, no, we ain't doing it. That's what Dayton would have done.
Right.
And look what happened to them. So instead, shut down the power. They get pulled into they get pulled towards. Did they get pulled into the big ship?
It's
No,
like the little
close to it.
grabbing area. There's a little
Like a docking area or something.
Yeah.
The lasers start like cutting apart the Cerritos like first contact day salmon.
Like a first contact day salmon.
Yeah. And Freeman has Mariner on the bridge with her, and the captain wants some options. She needs dangerous half-baked options that she would hate. So Mariner comes up with the idea that since the Packlets have merged so much technology together, their code is probably wide open, so it's easily hackable.
So obviously they're using Windows.
Probably,
Let's just wide open, easily hackable. It's got to be.
Look at him.
More IT jokes.
But yeah, this is my bread and butter. I like this episode. All kinds of IT jokes we can make.
We need a morally bankrupt genius to pull it off, and guess who? Badgie.
Badgie. Oh God, yes.
Badgie.
Yeah. So
so on the screen they showed like all the 30 different parts there, and they had like all the different nations that they had stolen from.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like Bajoran tech, Ferengi tech. They even had one symbol that I didn't recognize. Klingon tech.
There was Romulan.
Ferengi tech, Romulan tech. I mean, it's just really cool how it's all broken down like that.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah. Very nice.
I wonder how nobody knew about them before. It seems like they're attacking a lot of Federation, or at least like Milky Way.
Because they don't leave survivors.
That's right. That's true. Don't leave anyone to tell the story.
Yeah, it's true. So Rutherford knows exactly who to call to get the virus built. And
this is psychopathic Badgie.
It's our best friend, Badgie.
And
apparently he's always monitoring the comms. He tells Sam that straight up. He's like, I'm always monitoring the comms. And by the way, I've already created 3 different viruses, but you're going to have to take me there to do it. Which, imagine if Badgie hadn't destroyed the Packlet ship, but if he had taken it over.
Oh, God.
He could have done it.
He easily could have.
A sequel.
But he wanted Sam dead more than he wanted more than he wanted.
That's a great idea, though. That would have been so fun to see if just Badgie ends up flying off with the Pack-led ship, and now he has technology of 30 races, and he's just off doing Moriarty stuff.
Oh God!
But in a harmful way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rutherford.
I don't know if I want to manifest that or if I don't. Maybe for season 2 or something. So the Packlets are trying to beam aboard the bridge, and they need to get out. So they escort Captain Freeman down the hallways where Mariner pulls open all of these panels, and
so the cool thing about those, I don't know if you guys recognized any of that stuff, but she had a bottle of Klingon blood wine. Mm-hmm. She had the 1970s Spock helmet toy.
Yes.
That was the most ridiculous thing. Phillips is holding that in his hand right here.
The Spock helmet.
Boimler has a foil, which is a callback to either Picard or Sulu.
Right.
And Shax has the Ritual and Dorian tribute blades that
Archer and Shrimp find.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And she has her batlet that she got with an old guy with an eye patch. So I was hoping that it was going to be Martok, but it's probably the Klingon we saw.
Do you guys recognize the weapon that Freeman's holding?
I do not.
I don't
either.
No. I looked at that. I can't place that one.
Surely it's in the lore.
It's got to be from something, yes, because the writers have not missed an opportunity to bring out something from the lore. So this one has got to be deeper than what we're able to recall right now. So it's from something.
Yeah, to our listeners, if you know, holler with a comment.
Somebody out there knows.
Yeah,
somebody out there knows that I mean, it kind of looks like original series, but
somebody watching this right now is like, how do you not know this?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Duh.
Educate us, please. I want to know. So yeah, it's a really cool kind of like Power Rangers shot.
Oh, it's a great hero suit up, assemble kind of shot there.
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Assemble.
Awesome. Boimler even gets involved. Look at that.
Yeah.
Shax is having a great time. Best time of his life.
God.
Best day of his life.
So
Yeah.
good.
Shaq's he's just murking pack leads up and down the corridor. This is his bread and butter right there. I love that guy.
Yeah. In the midst of the fighting, Boimler kind of confesses to Mariner, like, you're my best friend. Like, I didn't want you to get, I knew that you would get the promotion. I apply for this stuff all the time and I never get it. I didn't want you to because I don't want you to go. And she's like, gosh, you've given up enough secrets today. Can you just shut up? And she's like, else? Like, she's just like, I love her. I love Mariner. Freeman gets critically injured at that point and they really need to get this done. So they go to sickbay. Ransom's got their back, and yeah. Ta'ana's like,
that was just out of
Put her
nowhere.
on the bed.
yeah.
I think I chalk it up that she was actually speaking Cation.
Oh, okay.
Because she's like, rawr, I mean, put her on the bio bed.
Yes, Universal Translator just, I don't know, glitched out.
I just call her Crazy Cat Lady. I think that fits her well.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The lady is the cat.
I like
awesome.
having a grumpy doctor back after McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They go to sickbay and they're like, oh, who would be the perfect person to do this? We would need someone who can get in and get out. And of course, I look at the synth because the synth is not an organic person. So I think there's a little bit of prejudice going on here. Like they pick Peanut because Peanut is small and eager to please, but additionally, like Peanut is a good choice for this. But she's like, I think I'm going to take a pass. Sounds too dangerous.
Excuse me, what?
Just do that?
Yeah, totally.
Can you just say pass? Dangerous, too dangerous. I don't want to do that.
No.
Like I didn't think you could do that.
No, you can't. If you're ordered to your death, then you got to follow orders. You know, and that's the role of the person in command, which was what Troy had to do when she was taking her command test. She kept she kept failing at the part of the engineering thing because she was looking for every solution possible, could not get it. Riker ended up kind of giving her a hint, and then she realized that's part of command. You need to order someone to their death.
First duty is to the ship.
Yes, and so yeah, if you get that order, you got to do it. You can't just say, no, it sounds like that might sting. I'm not going to do it.
Great subversion on the exocomp selflessness that we thought we were going to get because we saw it in Quality of Life. And here she's like, toodaloo.
She says she only joined Starfleet to make her dad angry.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, who's her dad? Is it
Which
Data?
is now the second time we've heard that joke. Also, I believe somebody said that in a flashback scene with Mariner. Or where was it? Somebody in a previous episode said, oh, I'm just dating. Or maybe it was Mariner was saying it. That she was just dating this guy to piss off
I just did
her
that
parents.
to get back at my mom. Was it the
Anabaj.
Yeah, the one with the
I think you're right.
pissing on the
Yeah, good
Envoys.
callback.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Sam decides he's gonna upload it directly into his interface.
Which that's not
Bad
smart.
idea.
Very bad
Yeah.
idea.
Tendi says, no, you're in a weird setting. You need to go back to normal because this isn't you. He's like, nope, I'm me now. And Shax grabs him and just pulls him away, takes him to a shuttle. It's kind of sad because this is the last time they really say goodbye.
I like
'Cause, like, he
Ford's
loses
I
all
can
his
run on
memory.
my own.
Yeah, Shax is so funny.
If you notice on the side of the shuttle, we may not see it here, but on the side of the shuttle, they have the four of them in stick figures painted on the side of the Sequoia.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so cute. Sequoia. How do you say that? Sequoia. Oh my gosh, I'm not.
Sequio.
I want to say Sequiota or something. So the shuttle is so small it can dodge all of the grapples, and Shax is like, "This is the best day of my life," and
he's earned it. He deserves it, by the way.
Oh yeah,
he's been wanting to fight for 10 episodes. Give him something to fight,
you know? Right.
He's been wanting to fight or blow something up.
You can see it right there. The 4 little figures of
the lower deckers:
Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford, right there on the side.
Oh, it makes me sad that they get separated at the end of this episode. But anyway, they get over to the Pakled ship. Just by brute force, he fires into the side, into the bulkhead, and pushes the shuttle through. Shax gives him cover while he uploads the virus, and Badgie's like, It's kind of like the Jurassic Park scene where it's like, you didn't say the magic word.
Right.
And Badgie is like, I'm gonna blow this whole thing up. Look at the self-destruct button.
Well, he's mad because Rutherford snapped his neck.
He's like, why wouldn't you finish it? He's like, because you snapped my neck. Shax, being the true security officer that he is, pulls the interface out. Oh no.
Arsh.
Yeah.
This is like when your dad's like, stop playing Bridge Crew on your VR set. We need to go.
Oh God.
Pulls a helmet off your head.
Yeah. He loads him into the shuttle, sacrifices himself for a baby bear. Oh.
I got you, baby bear.
That was a nice callback too, because that was from before when Rutherford was kind of switching around departments, and then he said we're like the bear cave or something like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the what did he say? Yeah, welcome to the pack or something.
The bear pack.
The bear pack.
The bear pack.
Yeah, he's a baby bear. He remembered. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
This is the last frame of Shax. So he knows he's down, but he is having the time of his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at just the smile, and well, not smile, but I mean, just the look of complete excitement and
because he knows that they've got him. Yeah. In the moment he does save Sam's life and sends him back over to the Cerritos, the Pakled ship, the original Pakled ship, this self-destructs, or Badgie destructs it, really. And there's a brief moment of pause, and then Freeman is in sickbay and tells Mariner, get us home, don't get used to the chair. And then all of a sudden, 3 more Pakled ships show up.
How are they going to get out of this one?
Escape pods is the ultimate decision that Mariner makes. However, the day is saved because they're being grappled apart. It's like a tug of war.
It's like Laserbeak and his Transformer buddies just showed up and were like, hey, you can't do that. Bad Enterprise. I like how the ships here are tied together too. There's cords holding everything on. I'm sure if we had more time, we could break apart exactly what ships these things came from.
Okay, I see the Laserbeak.
Now you see it?
Bit now. Yeah, I can see it now.
And the blue flashing dot, man. I'm never gonna forget that.
No, it gave me chills when Boimler said there's another ship coming in.
I had just watched Superman Returns, and on the radar it's Superman flying really fast. I'm like, is Superman coming? What's going on here?
I didn't know what was going to happen because I had forgotten that at this point when I first did the first watch through, I didn't even hear them mention the Titan in the beginning. So when the Titan shows up and you have Will Riker and Deanna Troi in the chair, once again, a family surprise, I started to cry a little bit because they're my favorite. We saw in Picard, that was that just took my breath away once again, and we got to see them animated for so cool.
And I gotta say, I totally knew it was going to happen.
Oh, you did.
but that made it even better for me because I was waiting for it. I knew it was going to come because my first hint was because they originally said, the writers said there are going to be some legacy characters. Mm-hmm. They said that plural.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now we only saw Q. So we knew that there was at least one more coming in this last episode because we had only seen one in the first 9. Plus they mentioned the Titan. And, I read the first couple Titan books, so I knew it's Riker and Troy. Plus, I know that the two of them are very willing to continue working in other Star Trek iterations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was just waiting. I was like, okay, we're going to see the Titan. We're going to see Riker and Troy. The one thing that we didn't get that I was hoping was to see the rest of the bridge crew that we knew from the books. We didn't see that, but maybe we will in season 2.
The only books I read with that involved the Titan, it was the one about the origin of the Borg.
Cool.
It was when the Borg were basically doing a blitz through they sent like hundreds, thousands of ships. They were just destroying everything. And the Titan was involved in that, although they were far away from it. Tuvok was in the books. He's one of the bridge officers. And I think Wesley Crusher was at one point. I could be wrong. I thought it was either a book or comics. Something placed him on the Titan at one brief point, but I can't claim that. But I know Tuvok.
I don't remember Wesley on there, but I don't know. I only read like the first book or two.
Right.
But Tuvok was definitely in there. He was. I think he was like tactical officer, because they also had an unjoined Trill who was the security officer. So they kind of like did double duty there.
Right.
But yeah, definitely Tuvok. And we didn't see him. I did pause it and see, is Tuvok back there?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was looking.
So that makes me think like on, well, maybe not in Picard when we see the Titan like return at the end. I don't think Boimler probably would have been on that. I don't know. I just like to because
that's right. I didn't make that connection, but I mean, plus
wouldn't that be cool?
It's like 20 years later, It
is. Yeah, he's probably got his own ship. He may even be commanding a ship in that fleet that Will calls. So apparently Mariner, it was Riker's like protege. He was her mentor, and she's like, where do you think I got all my contraband? This guy's flush with Romulan ale. Connection's terminated, and Deanna's like, we're gonna talk about this later. And she's just like the best. I just love her. She's seriously my favorite character. Beautiful battle sequence as the Titan destroys the Packlids and they retreat. Kick some ass. It was great.
It really
Base battle.
The Titan coming in there that was amazing.
We got 21 seconds of pure animated Riker kickassery, and it was beautiful.
Yes. And I like how I like seeing Riker and these familiar characters like especially Riker, how he was adjusted for the tone of Lower Decks. Like it's still Riker, but it's just kind of like Riker in a step up, like Riker times 2 for the character, which was great. I never pictured him as animated like that. I don't mean literally animated, but he's really in the moment. So that was I like seeing that, and I would like to see how if we get to see any other characters from the show, how they're adjusted for Lower Decks.
For sure. And it's almost like this show gave us like 9 episodes of pure just like fan service, and at the end they just like cherry on top it.
Yes.
With the Rikers, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we get to a starbase to Stardock for the Cerritos to be repaired. Freeman says, I want the Cerritos looking the exact same after her repairs. I don't want none of that fancy stuff.
Coming out looking all sovereign class.
Yeah. Well, the sovereign is chef's kiss, I will say.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't mind a little bit of sovereignness.
Here's your sovereign.
Ooh.
Just for you
nice.
guys.
Man, that is nice.
Good job.
Oh, that is pretty.
Dang.
And he's got him blind up.
Yeah.
So Freeman is recovered at this point, which, knowing Trek magic medicine, it's not surprising. But Tendi and Sam are in the recovery ward. Sam kind of wakes up. He doesn't recognize her.
He got a little tricorder on his bed there too.
She's reading to him, which is so sweet.
This caught me off guard. The way that the dialogue was here, it totally got me.
Like there wasn't a lot of lead up.
Yeah.
Almost.
When he sticks his hand out, I was just like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. And Tendy's like, you know what this means? We can become best friends all over again.
Yes.
And Sam's trademark, okie dokie.
Silver lining.
So Cinnamon Bun is happy.
Yeah. We cut to the Shack's funeral. Very, very sad. Look at that beautiful piece of art. It's like a shadowed, like, yeah. The whole crew's there. Freeman's very, very sad. She keeps his Bajoran earring.
He must have had a spare.
Yeah, how did they find that? If that was on him.
Yeah.
He must have had a second one.
Yeah,
They had to be. Yeah.
Maybe it's a replica or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love the segues in this show. Like they do great transitions. So we see the Bajoran earring and then she's in her office. She closes it and now she's talking to her daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Freeman gives her some shit, like all the stuff that she's pulled. She says she has a tribble hidden on deck, and Mariner's like, but that's for personal use.
It fell out of the ceiling when they got all the weapons out. The tribble hit the floor.
Oh, shit. That's not good. Freeman's kind of doubting Starfleet in this scene. She's saying, like, I don't like the protocols, but I have to follow them. But I need someone like you. Like, she's starting to value her daughter's perspective more and her daughter's personality and willingness to bend the rules and color with crayons outside the lines. Right. And they shake hands. It's a really nice moment of growth, I think. And it's nice to see it within a season of some growth with these characters. And she says, don't tell your father.
Yeah.
I just had a thought in my head. The beginning of the scene, she says, I don't know how I'm ever going to find anybody to take over what Shax did. And then she's talking about all this stuff with her daughter. And we know Mariner is very tactically focused. She comes up with a whole lot of plans, some of them in front of her mom. It makes me wonder if next season Mariner is the tactical person where Shax was supposed to be.
Maybe.
I was wondering that too. Either the exocomp figured out a way to save Shax at the last second and he comes back, unlikely, or they introduce a new character. I think it's probably the most likely, just some new tactical character, or also very likely is that they just put Mariner in that position and now she's on the bridge.
Well, this was another theory that we had. Remember, Watney weren't there Friday night for our hangout. Dag and I were talking about that Shax is the Kenny of Lower Decks. Like Q just brings him back, puts him like, no, that wasn't supposed to happen yet. And he just appears on the bridge, and they don't really address it, but there he is.
Well, you'd get a lot of angry nerds if that happened.
Yeah.
Like, what? We saw him die. That's not canon.
Yeah, he's Tasha Yard himself. Let him be. Let him rest in peace.
Hey, he got way better than
he did. He got a good ending for sure.
No, you're totally right. And I was thinking, like, what if we could get Avery Brooks to do like the emissary shows up with Shax and is like, you're not done yet, and then he flashes away and it's done.
That's cool.
It's half a second for Avery and that's it.
No, that's great. Yeah. So we cut to the lounge after this. Riker and Carol Freeman, our captain, they hug it out. We learn here that Riker is Mariner's mentor.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you were my Chadich, and the Chadich is the person who goes to fight for you when you have a problem with the Klingon High Council. So that's an interesting
good
thing
knowledge
there, that Carol fought for Riker.
I want to know what the situation of that was. There's a little backstory I'd like to hear.
We're going to get season 2 with a whole lot of flashbacks.
Ransom tells Deanna he'd like any introduction to one of Deanna's empath friends. And Deanna's like, I sense you have masked an ocean of insecurity.
I can make that work for me.
He's not resistant, I wonder if she just goes around like telling people that kind of shit. Mariner and Boimler tell each other that they're best friends, and then Riker comes over and drops a pad in front of Boimler saying Ransom says that he's one of his best. And Mariner and Riker walk off reminiscing a little bit. And then we learn that the pad really, I think, contained like a transfer order or something like that, which is pretty great for him. I'm glad he got something he wanted, because he saw a lot of people get promoted like in front of him that really didn't deserve it this season. So it's good. It's good for him.
Another interesting thing is that this sort of proves that you can have different uniform styles side by side depending on maybe some kind of operational need, like Riker is, in the command military section, whereas the California classes are on the second contact diplomatic kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's why their uniforms look a little bit more, formal, where Riker's is utilitarian, but even their comm badges are different. Riker's got the old first contact style. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is weird though that, they're wearing the first contact uniforms. You would think that he'd be wearing the lower decks uniforms, are just what we're accustomed to seeing on lower decks.
Mm-hmm. Right. The transition happening.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
but I love the Nemesis uniforms.
It is. And Ryan, we talked about this early on in our season of Lower Decks, that this is just 1 year after Nemesis. So they could certainly still be in those uniforms, but the crew on the Cerritos, they are not. So we had a kind of discussion of, well, do they, is it a slower transition? Is it that they do have different uniform styles depending on what arm of the fleet you're in, et cetera? For me, I just think that Riker is going to be more recognizable in that uniform. I think that's, to me, that was why they did that, was you're going to recognize Riker this way. The last time you saw him was, well, technically not the last time. I'm not going to count that travesty. That was
Enterprise.
Right. No, that doesn't count, but was in the uniform I'm wearing. So I think it was maybe a little more of a familiarity thing than it was being exactly accurate to what uniforms that they had for the show. That's just me.
And by the way, he does mention Enterprise, which is a nice little nod there, where he said, "Oh, I was just checking out the Enterprise on the holodeck." That was great.
Those guys.
What a callback!
It was a long road getting from there to here.
Yeah.
I like in this image that Riker has his wedding ring on.
Yes.
Just a little token there.
Cute.
A little bit of something that could have been overlooked as a detail if you're not really paying attention.
Yeah, they're pretty newlywed, right?
Still? Yes.
They've been married for a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Newlyweds.
Thaddeus will be born in 2 more years.
Yeah. Another great transition here is Mariner and Riker walking away as Boimler reads the pad. He sets it down and he's in a new uniform. And that's just amazing. It's so great how they just make it so fluid. Mariner is nonstop calling him on his new quarters on the Titan because he accepted the transfer.
And he's got a plate of Ransom next to his bed. There's a little plate with a Ransom face on it next to his bed. It's
because Ransom told him that he was the best. Or something.
I think Ransom, because exactly.
He vouched for him.
Yeah.
So his fellow new officers, new friends come in and say, "We got to go. Your first mission is to escort Troy to Telgana 4, which he visited in episode 2 of Lower Decks Envoys." So he knows all about that already. He's an expert on Telgana 4.
Yeah, he's super cool now.
Yeah. He knows a certain restaurant or something there. Mariner is back in her bunk on the Cerritos, and she's basically yelling at him to call her back. And Jen apparently is pissed that she's talking so loud. She's like, "Shut up, Jen." We cue back to the final scene of Lower Decks season 1, where Riker enters the bridge of the Titan saying, "Sorry, I'm late. Was watching," like Ryan said, the Enterprise on the holodeck, long road. They're like, "We're going to Telgana 4," and Riker's like, "Oh, I hear there's a little Risa there." And Troy's like, "Are we going to bring the little Horgon or the one we always use?" And then we hear Jazz on the exit.
Give me warp to
his own. Yeah, it's his own little warp thing, warp me or engage, but his is give me warp to the factor of 5, 6, 7, 8.
He keeps the trombone behind him at all times. That'd be great.
Just great episode.
Yeah, Titan great episode. Any final thoughts?
Peanut Hamper's still out there.
How long do you guys think that Boimler's going to be on the Titan?
I would say probably right. I have a feeling it's not going to be more than maybe an episode or 2 into the second season of Lower Decks.
everybody's so happy there.
Right.
It would definitely be very weird to play with that, figure out where they're going to take Boimler. Is he going to come back? Are they going to put somebody new on the field? Are they going to be challenging Mariner to step up to the plate now that she's actually starting to lose friends to promotion? Mm-hmm. It'll be fun to see that story.
Yeah. Well, and if they would be doing themselves a favor, and I think this would work out if they have the second season has some kind of like a parallel storylines. You've got the Cerritos line, and then you follow Boimler on the Titan, and then there's some episodes dealing with that, and then at some point they cross paths and converge. I don't know. It would be a shame to have Boimler somehow find himself right back on the Cerritos very early on in the second season. There's so many story possibilities they have if they can keep him there for a bit longer. And
I want more Riker and Troy, period.
Yes.
Please give us more.
Yeah, well, like Ryan said, I think Dag said, Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis, they'd certainly want to continue participating in Star Trek. So I would say with that willingness, let's have some storylines on the Titan with Boimler and his new friends.
Yeah, but I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 1, 2, like maybe a third episode. Yeah, but eventually things will go back to what it was. I mean, it would be great to see the inside of the Titan and see the characters that we love or expect could possibly be there, but that just doesn't necessarily fit, writing style.
It's about lower decks too. You have to think it needs to stay in the lower decks. Yeah. And it has a lot of charm first season. Tom.
Very true.
All right.
What other thoughts did you have, Ryan?
Yeah.
I also think that Boimler, when he gets transferred back, will probably go back down to ensign. Something's going to happen, because they're just going to bring it back to the lower decks. If he's going to be a lieutenant now, then that kind of takes that away. Just like when Mariner got promoted for half a second, she immediately goes back down. Right. At some point, eventually, I do think some or all of them will be promoted, but probably not this early in the series. So I do think that Boimler will go back down to ensign. That's just a guess.
Yeah. I wonder if he will inevitably end up breaking the rules or breaking and not following an order for Mariner or Tendi, probably Mariner. And that might be why he gets reduced and demoted back down to ensign and retransferred. I don't know.
Good thought.
Or he becomes the team lead of the group. He's still junior grade lieutenant, but he's just kind of the guy that's in charge.
Right.
Well, there is that episode in the future where he's got a statue and he's known as the least coolest officer in history. And in that statue, he's wearing that lower decks uniform. So maybe he doesn't, Ryan, I think you might be right.
Yeah,
probably. We're
calling it now.
They can't have a series with 2 ships. We'd love to see it, but they probably are not going to do that.
Right. At least not for many episodes. Like you said, 2, 3 tops.
Well, they gave us a lot to chew on for season 2, and Discovery is right around the corner, season 3. So, well, thank you for listening. If you've been listening to us, we've loved having you along for the journey for season 1 of Lower Decks. If you'd like to support us online, you can find us at patreon.com/BeyondTrek. If you want to talk to us online, you can find us at Twitter at BeyondTrekPod or at Instagram at BeyondTrekPodcast. And we also have a Facebook.com/BeyondTrekProductions. I want to give a very special shout out to our Anchor and Patreon donators, Stephanie Baker and Jim Cook. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And Ryan, where can we find you online?
Easiest way is just Google my name, Ryan T. Husk, and then you can find whatever your preferred method of social media, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. Just Google me and find me there, or look at the handles, the 7th Rule or Virtual Trek Con, and just click on those and find me there.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being with us, joining us on this. We would love to have you on again. That would be great. We had a very good time, and I appreciate you taking the time out for us. Anything you can tell us you've got coming up in the Star Trek world, acting or producing? If you got another minute here.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you right back. This was very easy and pleasant. I enjoyed watching the the screen grabs. It was relaxing and fun. I got to relive the whole thing. Watney, you've got a great voice for this.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are great. You're fun. I found myself just kind of like drifting off and listening to the narration, looking at the pictures a couple times. So that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean that in a good way. So thank you for the fun and for including me. As far as new projects coming up, nothing really that is Star Trek related other than all the virtual convention and the Star Trek show podcast that I'm doing with Sirach and with our many awesome guests. That's keeping us pretty busy. Other than that, Hollywood's kind of starting to reopen as far as production and shooting, but I'm not currently involved in those reopened productions. I'm not going to Toronto to shoot Discovery. They have not called me to be in Picard season 2 yet.
They've got to do that. They've got to do that.
So far, no.
Well, we hope you get the call for that. That would be great. Love to see you on the screen there, and please don't be a stranger. Love to see you again and have you on, and glad that you enjoyed listening to the narration, and I'm glad you remembered that you were on the podcast as well, and didn't doze off listening to Watney's smooth narration.
That's nice. And you guys must have great listeners. It's a very relaxing listen. It's fun and entertaining.
Yep.
Thank you
That's
so
how
much.
we like our track.
Yeah.
And if you're watching or listening, thanks for being a part of Beyond Trek podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your years. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.